Let me say something right off the bat that might hit a little harder than you expect. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to dive deep into a frustration we all know way too well. Think about every single fresh start you've ever declared, every sudden intense burst of motivation, every promise you've made to yourself at 2 a.m. that tomorrow, yes tomorrow, is the day you finally turn it all around. But what if the reason your life isn't changing isn't because you aren't trying hard enough? What if everything you're doing to fix your life is secretly keeping you exactly where you are?
It's a pretty painful question, isn't it? Why does nothing ever change? How many times have you said to yourself, okay, this time it's different? And maybe, for a few days, or maybe even a solid week, it actually was. You woke up early, you felt super focused, you genuinely believed in yourself. But then, you slipped. Again. And now you're right back at square one, looking in the mirror and asking yourself that exact same question. Well, stay with me here, because the answer is going to challenge literally everything you think you know about personal growth.
Here is the hard truth. You are not stuck by accident. You are stuck by design. I want to completely shatter this illusion that your lack of progress is some sort of deep personal failure. By the end of this explainer, you're going to realize something that's maybe slightly uncomfortable, but honestly, it's incredibly liberating. You aren't broken. You've just been caught in a loop that was built to keep you exactly where you are.
Let's jump right into section 1, the illusion of progress.
Let's get brutally honest for a second. You are not lazy, and you are definitely not the only one going through this. The problem is, we constantly confuse effort with progress. Just because you're trying doesn't mean you're actually moving forward. You can be busy all day long, watching productivity videos, aggressively color-coding your planners, daydreaming about your future, but, that's all just effort. Progress requires actual direction. Motion isn't the same as direction. You can run as fast as humanly possible, but if you're just running on a hamster wheel, you are literally only getting better at staying stuck. Let's just pause on this hard truth for a second. If effort alone worked, your life would already look different. Seriously, think about how much energy you've spent over the years trying to change. If sheer force of will and exhausting effort were the magic keys, you would have unlocked that door a really long time ago. So, if it's not a lack of effort, there absolutely must be invisible forces at play here.
Which brings us to section 2, the invisible system holding you back. This is where we need to shift our focus away from what you're doing and look at the environment you're doing it in. We're going to look at how your habits, your physical environment, and your daily routines aren't just random things that happen to you. They actually form a perfectly functioning, highly efficient system. This is the truth nobody talks about. Your life right now is perfectly designed to give you your current results. If your phone is sitting right next to your bed, well, your system is perfectly designed for doom scrolling. It's not a random stroke of bad luck, and it's not the universe acting unfairly toward you. It is a structural reality. That system of routines we just talked about, it's doing exactly what it was built to do. Maintain the status quo and keep you right where you are. Here's the kicker. When you try to change your life using only motivation, you are basically trying to override an entrenched structural system using temporary emotion. And guess what? Emotion doesn't last. It's fleeting by nature. So, when that motivation inevitably fades, your environment, your system, wins every single time. It is a rigged game. Trying to beat a concrete system with a temporary feeling will only destroy your self-trust, mostly because you just keep blaming yourself for losing a match you were never set up to win in the first place. And this is exactly where it starts to hurt, because you've been blaming yourself this whole time. You've thought, why can't I stay consistent? What is wrong with me? Listen to me, nothing is wrong with you. But that does leave us with a massive question. If it's not your willpower, what actually needs to change? Well, if we can't rely on our external emotional drive, we have to look inward, right at our very biology.
That leads into section 3, why your brain is working against you. Most people totally ignore this biological truth. The human brain is simply not wired for modern success, achievement, or self-actualization. Nope, it's wired for survival mode. And to your brain, survival means comfort, it means familiarity, it means safety. To your ancient brain, chasing greatness is a literal threat, and eating potato chips on the couch, that is peak evolutionary success. So when you try to completely change your life overnight, you aren't just trying to build a cute new habit. To your brain, you are actively threatening its sense of stability. That's why you procrastinate when things get hard. It's why you avoid discomfort and retreat to what's familiar. It's not because you're weak, it's literally just your brain doing its evolutionary job to protect the status quo.
Simply put, you fail because you're using the wrong strategy. If you rely on sheer motivation to fight millions of years of evolutionary biology, you are going to lose.
You're fighting biology with emotion, which is fundamentally the wrong tool for the job. But, biology is really only half of the internal equation.
Let's look at section 4, the identity problem.
This is the true root of the issue, and frankly, it's the truth most people want to avoid. You can want a different life all you want. You can go out and buy the fancy planners, download all the productivity apps, set a dozen alarms, but none of it works if you are operating from the exact same internal foundation. Your actions always align with who you believe you are. You still think like the same person, act like them, and make decisions like them. And as long as your underlying identity stays the same, your results are going to stay the same. Every broken promise, every unfinished goal, every single time you said, "I'll start tomorrow," and didn't, it builds a really dangerous internal narrative. You start telling yourself, maybe I'm just not that person. And once you believe that, you expect failure. You subconsciously hold back, basically proving yourself right again and again.
So here we are. We've arrived at the pivotal moment of this explainer. The only question that matters right now is, how do you break out of this cycle permanently? Not just for a week, not just until the motivation wears off, but for good. How do we stop fighting our environment, our biology, and our identity, and finally get them all aligned?
That brings us to our final section. Section 5, Steps to Real Change.
All right, this is the blueprint. We're going to abandon the lies of hustle culture, drop this whole reliance on fleeting motivation, and focus on structural, permanent shifts that actually work. Let's walk through this framework together real quick. Step 1, stop chasing motivation. It's totally unreliable. If your life depends on how you feel, your results will always be inconsistent. Step 2, change your environment. Stop relying on discipline to ignore your phone, just put the phone in another room. Make your bad habits hard and your good habits easy. Step 3, remove decisions. Decision fatigue absolutely kills progress. Set rules. For example, I work at 9 a.m. Boom, no debate. Step 4, start smaller than you think. 5 minutes a day beats 0 minutes a day for a week, right? You need a repeatable plan, not a perfect one. And finally, step 5, rebuild your identity. Catch yourself and stop saying, "I'm trying to change," and start saying, "I am the type of person who shows up."
This brings us to the ultimate paradigm shift. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. This is hands down the ultimate takeaway of our entire analysis today. Your goals are really just your desired outcomes, but your system is the vehicle that actually gets you there. If the vehicle is broken, well, the destination doesn't even matter. When you finally internalize this, there's just an incredible sense of relief. Once you fix the system, you finally stop fighting yourself. Now, let's be real, this isn't easy. Changing your system takes honest effort and some pretty deep self-awareness. You have to be willing to admit that your current life is a result of your current system. But the good news? Once you fix it, everything gets so much easier. You stop having to restart every single week. You actually feel in control again. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. What is one thing in your daily life, just one part of your invisible system, that is keeping you exactly where you are? I want you to really think about it. And if you're ready to take that first step toward permanent change, drop your answer in the comments below. Because the exact moment you become aware of the system holding you back is the exact moment you take your power back. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.